Hello, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Milsbo, but you can call me Mel, and today I am finally, after I believe it's 4 months from buying this thing, I am finally building my IKEA greenhouse. And there's a few reasons why I kind of delayed it or postponed building it, but we will talk about that. I bought my IKEA Greenhouse cabinet back in May. Now it is the end of September. You'll be seeing this in a few days, so the beginning of October. And the reason why I bought it is because I loved the idea of using it as a space where I can stack my plants versus have my plants going long ways in my plant room. So it definitely is a space saver. But because we were entering spring and summer, my plant room, it stays at about 25 plus degrees and the humidity stays at about 60%-ish. So my plants were doing really well and I didn't feel the need to use this IKEA cabinet. So I kind of regretted buying it. By the way, it was my first spring/summer in my home. We bought a house last year. So it was really the first time me experiencing all 4 seasons in this home. And I just wasn't expecting that room to hold so much humidity and, you know, be high temperature. There is a double door glass opening in that room. So I think that really benefited for the plants. So at that point, I didn't feel the need for this IKEA cabinet, so I kind of regretted buying it. And I don't know, I think I just impulse buyed because they were back in stock. I wanted the white one. But anyways, I didn't build it throughout the spring and summer. My plants did fine. But now, where I live, we are entering fall and winter, and I feel like this IKEA cabinet will definitely benefit my plants during the seasons where I'm not going to have as much natural light and the humidity is definitely going to drop. So this is specifically the reason why I finally have decided to build it. I'm still hesitant, but I think I will keep it. I almost sold it. I don't know, we'll see, but I'm hoping that it will convince me to keep it and do well for my plants. So stick around. Specifically today, we are going to be building the IKEA cabinet. I am gonna make this, I think, a 2-part. So stick around because I have some fun ideas and some different ideas for the IKEA Greenhouse cabinet because it is going into my plant room. So join us, and first things first, you probably want a pep talk with your partner or the person that's helping you with this IKEA cabinet. I have no idea how complicated it's going to be. I have watched a few videos of some other plant YouTubers that have put it together. They make it look so easy, so hopefully it's as easy as it looks, but we'll see how long it actually takes. So we are going to go ahead and build this cabinet. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of keep you updated on how I'm actually planning this out. So we do have a bed beside us, so we're gonna put a lot of the smaller pieces laid out, that way we know where everything is. And obviously I'm just gonna go through the instructions just to see if we can organize ourselves based on the steps. And I'm just getting rid of some of the garbage just so that it doesn't get too crowded in here. So just some tips as I go through this, and hopefully they can help you. So just give me a moment. I'm gonna browse through this and then we're going to start. All right, so this is what we're doing first. Pretty simple, straightforward. So that picture is asking for those 4 things together, and then you add the small pieces underneath, which you basically just screw on like that. And it also shows you on the second page that you're going to use those 4 pieces. So now we're going to go ahead and work on the bottom shelf. All right, so first mistake already is that you do have to make sure that you're using the correct corners on the correct side. So you see this one has a circle, a big circle, and then this one has 4 small circles. So you need both of the ones with the bigger circle on one side because that's where the door is going to go. So we are just going to switch these two so that we have the ones with the big circle on the same side. So now, since we learned our lesson with the other one, you just have to keep track of where the door is going to go. So we have both of the bigger holes in the front, and now for the shelf, you need to make sure that the part that's sticking out is also going to be on the same side as the big holes, because that's where the door is going to go. So we're gonna go ahead and put that together. So just another reminder that this is the front where the doors are gonna go. So you see here, you're actually only putting 1 screw in on either side, so the closer hole to the inside of the cabinet. And then the back ones, you're gonna have 2 on each. I'm assuming because now the next step is gonna be to put the posts in, and the posts are gonna go into the holes that we didn't use. So that's the next step. So just a little tip, I'm just trying to put the posts in, and sometimes the screw won't go in as easily as you want it to. So I just prep the hole that's underneath. I try to do the screw in before putting the top layer on. So for this one, we had a hard time getting this screw into the second hole. So it was going in fine on this, but then it was having a hard time grabbing on to the flat surface. So just a little bit of patience, and like I said, you can prep the bottom hole by just screwing it in and then putting the post on top, but we were able to get this one in just with a bit of patience. So now we are on step 8 in the manual, and I even had to question myself based on the diagram and what I see in front of me. Since the front of the cabinet is towards you, you have to make sure that you're aligning everything to whatever the front is, like I've been mentioning. So this piece is the piece that has the flap, so this is going to go in the front as well, and it should just slide in. So just make sure it's lined up, and it should slide right in, just like that. And then now we're going to do the back support beam, I guess you can call it. So here's the back piece, and you see here it has the little entrance, so you just go in. You make sure that the bumpy part is on the outside and then the holes are on the inside. And I'm just going to tighten it up. So just letting you know that you do need a screwdriver for the back part, because that one you don't need the Allen key for. So it's just the back support that you need the screwdriver. So the next part's the top, so we just have to line up all the pieces and make sure that they're all inside. So he's making sure that the back part's also lined up. And then the front, you have to have these hooks at the front where the doors are gonna go. So there are just a few screws that we're having to put up top, so my handy danny tall helper is the one doing that part for me. All right, so now is the part that's gonna make me a bit nervous, but hopefully it's just as easy as the structure of the cabinet. We're gonna be putting in the glass sheets. So fingers crossed, this will be also smooth sailing. So before you push the glassing, you do have to make sure that it is pressed up against the corner here. So you see that there's this cushion, so you do have to press it up against this border before you can push in the rest of the glass. So we got the 2 back glass sheets in. Now, one thing I want to let you know is that it makes a really loud, scary boom, or like almost shattering sound, because you have to get it behind these little things.
I don't know if I can actually zoom, but here you go. So you see here, there's like a bump here, and then there's another one on the other side. So you actually have to push the glass with a little bit of force for it to kind of go over this little nub. So just be aware that it may feel a bit scary pushing the glass, but that's the way that you're gonna be able to secure it behind this frame. So now we're putting on the piece for the back, and I'll just be doing one for one shelf in the middle. And these are the two pieces. So there's one that's more shallow. That's the one that you're gonna be using for the back. And then these are more wide at the bottom, and these are gonna be the ones you're gonna use for the sides. All right, so the one glass shelf is in the middle of the cabinet. So about the fifth one, and then there's 4 holes in between the top and the bottom. And I'm not going to be talking about my accessories in this video, so stay tuned for next week's video. But we're gonna finish up by putting on the doors. Okay, so another mistake we just realized is that the screws that were on top, or that are on top, we tightened them too soon, which is why it didn't give us as much space or a bit of give before putting the glass in at the bottom. So just a reminder that make sure that you leave the top screws a little loose. That way it gives you a bit more give in here when you're pushing the glass in from the bottom. So now we are on step 22. We're gonna do the doors. So I laid the doors on the bed, and then I already put these pieces on the cabinet. So it's telling me to make sure that I have the part that sticks out facing downwards, and then the same thing for the top, but this part is actually gonna be facing upwards at the top. So let's go ahead and put those in. And now for this step, we're gonna take these 2 little things and we're gonna place them at the bottom like that, and then one over here like this to get ready for the doors.
So now we're gonna put the doors on. So again, we are having to untighten the top of the cabinet because we're unable to slide these in. So again, another tip is that you may have to loosen up the screws at the top to allow the doors to slide in, and then you can put this piece on top to secure it, and then you can tighten up the screws again.
All right, so I think this is mistake number 3. We put the door on upside down. So the lock should be at the bottom and then these should be up top. And we recognized that there was something wrong because this piece kept popping up. So we are just going to now flip it over, and hopefully this piece over here stays down like this one, flush to the frame. So let's do that right now. All right, so the doors are on. Perfect. So this is what it's supposed to look like. The lock's supposed to be on the bottom right of the door. If you read the instructions correctly or thoroughly, then you will not make this mistake. But we got too excited and put them on upside down. So let's do the little details. We're gonna put the handles on now. And they also give you some handles, and then they give you the key for the cabinet. So that's very helpful, but you can obviously change these up to something else, but that is the last piece.
All right, so we are done the cabinet. It did take us longer than expected, but I am recording the video as well, and we had some visitors come in between some of the segments of this video. But ultimately, I would say in total, maybe an hour or 2, just depending on how patient you are with the pieces. But it was actually a lot easier than I thought. My fiance even said that he's impressed with IKEA's instructions and just how simple putting this cabinet together was. So that was fun. We got past that, so that's great. Now let's decorate this cabinet and turn it into a greenhouse cabinet.